So I wrote this book for many reasons, but the main three reasons were: one, I wanted to raise awareness about meningitis because I hardly knew what it was when I got it, and I certainly had no idea it could be deadly or do what it did to me. The second reason was to hopefully inspire and give some hope to people who are going through their own medical crises, or really any crises where they feel like it's unbearable. Like on a daily basis, they're asking, how can I possibly get through this? I wanted to show people a story of somebody who was completely unprepared for something terrible to happen, who had been sheltered and pampered, and was emotionally and mentally pretty weak and untested. And yet, from that spot, was still able to overcome this and was able to come out better on the other end. And I think it kind of shows, like, if I can do it, anybody can. And so the third reason, as a journalist and a writer, is just I wanted to tell a good story. I knew I had a story to tell, a story worth telling. And honestly, all I was really concerned about was whether I could do it justice. My book is called Worth the Pain, and the subtitle is How Meningitis Nearly Killed Me, Then Changed My Life for the Better. In 2004, I was a normal college student at the University of Kansas getting ready to graduate, and one night I went to bed thinking I had the flu. By the next morning, I couldn't get out of bed. By the next evening, I was in critical condition fighting bacterial meningitis. 3 weeks later, I woke up from a drug-induced coma to find that the infection had compromised the blood flow to my extremities to the extent that my arms and legs had turned black, and my fingers and toes were starting to rot and die while still attached to my body. 3 months of painful burn treatments followed to save my arms and legs, and then I had a year of rehabilitation to learn how to walk, drive, dress, eat, use the bathroom, all of the things I used to be able to do without even thinking about it. I went through all of that again. In my case, in 2004, I had meningitis B, the serogroup B, and in 2004 there was no vaccine for B. There was a vaccine for the other strains, but there was no shot that would have prevented what I had. In the years since then, a vaccine has been developed. There is now a meningitis B vaccine. It has been approved for use in Europe and Australia, and it's now being shipped by the FDA to the Princeton campus, where there's an active outbreak of meningitis B.
Princeton University believes that now it is unlikely that a rare and more deadly strain of meningitis will spread as the students are about to scatter for their Thanksgiving break. Scott Brooms at the University of Maryland, where a survivor of meningitis B, says that's still not good enough.
If it's safe enough for Princeton, then why are we not making it available to college students across the country?
Journalist and author Andy Marso.
For those of us who have had this disease and have waited years to see a shot that could keep other people from going through what we went through, it's extremely frustrating to see it stuck in some sort of bureaucratic protocol. We want that shot available for people.
Hi, I'm Jamie Shambaugh, and I'm here to tell you about my story. Well, I go to UT.
Jamie was a student at the University of Texas. She was younger than I was when I contracted the disease, but very similar results. She lost both legs below the knee. She lost most of her fingers. And so me and my mom went down there to Austin to meet her and her family. And her family was much like mine, extremely supportive, bolstering her as much as they could. But I really think that it helped her to see me do things with my hands, because our hands had very similar damage. So this is a button hook that's made for people with arthritis. It's got one for like big buttons for pants and one for shirt buttons, and it's obviously very compact and portable. You can carry it around in your pockets very easily. You weave it through the buttonhole like that, and then it grabs the button and you can pull it through with enough force like that. I gave her one of these, which you get it at drugstores. It costs maybe $5, and she was so happy. She said that she'd only been wearing pants without buttons and shirts without buttons, and this was gonna enable her to do so much stuff. And so any little thing like that I can do to kind of pay it forward for all of the help and support that survivors gave to me, it really does. It bolsters me as well, for sure. And it gives meaning to my experience. If I can help somebody else out, then it makes it easier to fathom why I went through what I went through.
I've had so many different, people come out to me, so many gifts, so many letters, so much support from different places around, the U.S. and Mexico and different parts of the world, and just thanks. Thanks to everyone.
There's a lot of things that happen to you that you can't control. But what you can always control is how you react to those things. When bad things happen, do you get despondent, or do you fight through them and fight for something better? I was as weak as anybody would have been in that position. I cried so many times, I was despondent, and yet even me, as sheltered and pampered as I was, as unprepared for this kind of experience as I was, there was something inside me that I think is inside of all of us, which is the desire to fight for something better.